Good morning, children. Today we will see the contribution of agriculture to national economy and our employment. What is the topic today we are going to discuss? Contribution of agriculture to the national economy and employment. Employment means job. Contribution means share. Share of agriculture to national economy. So now from thousands of years, from so many thousands of years, agriculture has been the backbone of India. It has been the mainstay. So nearly 52% of Indian population, they are employed by agricultural sector or farm sector. How many percentage? 52% of population, they are employed by agricultural sector or farm sector. Okay, but the GDP share in the overall share from agriculture, it has been declining from 1952. Declining means decreasing. Declining, what's the meaning? Decreasing. So now the share of GDP from agriculture to the overall GDP, it has been decreasing from 1952. So what is GDP? GDP means gross domestic product. Gross domestic product. What is that? The total value of all the goods produced in 1 year. That is called GDP. The total value of all the goods produced in a country in 1 year is called a GDP. So from 1952, the share of agriculture to GDP has been decreasing. Though 52% of population, they are employed by the farm sectors. So as the share of GDP from agriculture has been declining, it is affecting the other fields or other areas of production. So all the other areas of production will be deeply affected or disturbed because of this declining trend. Declining means decreasing. So now the government understood the importance of agriculture in India, and it has taken concerted efforts, continuous efforts for the development of agriculture. Our Indian government has taken many steps for the development of agriculture. What our government has done, we will see one by one. First one, the Indian government established ICAR, ICAR means Indian Council of Agricultural Research. Indian Council of Agricultural Research. So lots of research are going in this institute, which is there in Delhi. Next one, establishment of agricultural universities. The Indian government has set up so many agricultural universities so that agriculture development would take place scientifically. Third one, veterinary services. You know veterinary? Related to animals, cows, buffaloes, pigs, goats, all these things. So that services have been improved. Then the government has established animal breeding centers in many places. Animal breeding centers, so that hybrid variety of animals can be developed and they will increase the yield of meat and milk products. Horticulture has been given importance. Development of horticulture. You know the meaning of horticulture. Study about vegetables and fruits. Then there is a lot of research going in meteorology and weather bulletins. Meteorology, what's the meaning? The study of weather, about rains, about climatical conditions, sunlight, all these things come under meteorology and weather bulletin. The government also has gone for development of rural infrastructure. Rural infrastructure. What is infrastructure? All the facilities available in a particular place. That is called infrastructure. So the government has concentrated more in villages to develop the roads and develop all the other facilities, so that even the villages will share some of the things from agriculture for the GDP. So these are the efforts taken by government. So the government has understood the value of agriculture, the importance of agriculture, and it has taken continuous steps, concerted steps. Let us recall once. Agriculture is the backbone of India. Its GDP share is declining after independence. 52% of population in India, they are employed by agricultural sector or farm sector. But when the GDP share from agriculture is declining or reducing, that affects the other sectors, other production sectors. So the government has taken many steps. What are the steps? It established ICAR, it established agricultural universities, veterinary services, animal breeding centers, horticulture development, research in the field of meteorology and weather bulletin, then development of infrastructure in villages. The last part in agriculture lesson is problems faced by Indian farmers. What is the last topic? Problems faced by Indian farmers. Okay. Before going to that topic, let us see the growth rate of GDP in India. Just look at this table. The growth rate of GDP in India. We will see sector wise. There are three major sectors: agriculture, industry and services. What are the three major sectors? Agriculture, industry and services. In economics you would be studying about all these different sectors. So now let us see the growth rate of agriculture. If we take 2013-14, it was 4.2%. The growth rate was 4.2%. What is growth rate? Every year the industry or any other sector will be growing. Overall production, how much it has increased from the previous year to this year. That is called a growth rate. For example, your 5.5 meters or 5.5 feet in 9th class. Now you have gone to 5.6 in 10th class. So you have grown by 0.1 feet. That is called your growth rate. Suppose you scored 80 marks in maths this time. In the next exam, you are scoring 90 marks. Now you have increased your marks by 10. That 10 is called a growth rate. The same way, in every production, year to year, how it is increasing. That increase in production, that is called a growth rate. So if you see agriculture and its growth rate, in 2013-14, it was 4.2%. It was 4.2%. And in 2014-15, it has gone to minus 0.2%. In 2015-16, it was 1.1%. So the growth rate of agriculture, instead of increasing, it is decreasing. Growth rate is not accelerating. It is not going forward. It is decelerating. Decelerating means what? Decreasing. So agriculture has been facing deceleration in its growth rate compared to 2013-14 and 2015-16. Even in the recent times, till now, 2020, farmers are facing many problems and agriculture has not found any development in its growth rate. Take industry. Industry's growth rate, it is encouraging. In 2013-14, growth rate is 5%. In 14-15, it is 5.9%. In 15-16, it is 7.3%. So overall growth rate of industry is encouraging. The growth rate of service sector, 7.8 in 2014, 10.3 increased, 9.2. So here also, in service sector also, the growth rate is increasing. And if you see the overall GDP of India, in 2013-14, it was 6.6%. In 2014-15, 7.2%. In 2015-16, it is 7.6%. So the overall GDP growth rate of India, has been increasing steadily compared to 2013-14 and 2015-16. So it's good, but it is not generating any employment. Job opportunities are not developed or it is not created because of this growth rate. Majorly because of deceleration in agricultural sector. The sector which gives maximum employment in India has been facing deceleration in its growth rate. So employment generation in India, it is not increasing day by day. It is not going up to the level. So now, because of these problems, what is the problem for this deceleration of growth rate in agriculture? Problems faced by farmers. Many problems are faced by Indian farmers. Today, Indian farmers are facing a very stiff competition. Stiff competition means what? A very high, intense competition in the international market from the products from other countries. So there is a severe competition for Indian farmers in the international markets. We are not able to sell our products compared to other products which are coming to the international market. Second one, public investment. What is public investment? investment done by the government on any sector. That is called a public investment. So the public investment has been reduced by the government, which is spent on agriculture. So the money spent on agriculture, it has been coming down. Government is not allocating proper funds in its budgets for agriculture. So there is reduction in public investment. Then subsidy on fertilizers. Normally every government in every country, they give subsidies on fertilizers. What is subsidy? Giving some reduction of the original prices. For example, the cost of urea is 800. Then the government will give some subsidy, 40% or 50%. So instead of getting urea for 800, you will be getting for 400. Farmers used to get some benefits because of this subsidy. Now in recent times, the central government and the state governments, they have stopped these subsidies. Subsidies on fertilizer has been reduced. So the cost of fertilizers, it has increased. So the cost of production of agricultural products also increased, which is leading the farmers to face many problems. The next one, reduction in import duties. What is import duties? Taxes on foreign goods. Imported goods. Imported goods means foreign goods. Taxes on foreign goods. That is called import duties. So now the government, because of liberalization policy, which we will be reading in economics lessons, the government, because of this policy, liberalization policy, from 1991, it has reduced the import duties. That is taxes on foreign goods which are entering our Indian market. Now because of this, lots of international products from agriculture, they are entering into Indian markets. So farmer is facing problem in domestic markets also. Farmer is already facing high competition in the international markets because of reduction in import duties or tax reduction on foreign goods which is coming from other countries. Farmer is facing problems in domestic markets also. Now because of that, there is a downfall in the employment generated by agriculture. So now farmers are facing all these problems at regular intervals. They are facing high competition at the international market. Public investment by the government has reduced. Reduction of subsidies on fertilizer, it is one of the major problems. Government is not giving any reduction on fertilizers. Then import duties are decreased so that foreign goods are entering into Indian markets. Because of that, there is a downfall in employment generated by our agricultural sector. So the Indian farmers, now they are the worst affected community overall in India. They are withdrawing from farming. Nobody is interested. If you go and ask any farmer, many of your parents are farmers, just ask your father, Dad, I want to become a farmer. What is the immediate answer of your father? No, shut your mouth, go to school, get studies and go to some jobs. This is not the right area for your growth. So nobody is very happy with the agricultural sector because of all these problems. So now they are not interested to take up agricultural. If you take generation by generation, your grandfather might be farmer, your father may be a government employee. Now you don't know what is farm or what is agriculture. In future, India will be facing lots of problem if we neglect agricultural sector. So the government should concentrate more on developing agricultural sector and giving more importance to farmers. Otherwise, instead of food, we may have to eat paper coins and paper notes. Thank you.